clock ticked one as you lay numb on your bed. It was impossible to cry anymore because you already cried a lot of tonight. Replaying Taehyung breaking up with you, how he had slammed the door shut on your face, not even willing to fight with you anymore. Somewhere along the line, it had also been your fault, but you were afraid that if you told your father, he would fire Taehyung and you would never get to see him again. This was never how you expected this all to go. It was hard to even think of sleep, let alone get some that night. You didn't know it, but Taehyung had also been silently crying. He was tired of heartache of being merely a bodyguard when he was so much more, and from the way you hadn't rushed to tell your father. He felt you weren't genuine about the whole thing like he had been. He didn't want it to go this far, but it was better if you were going to hurt him in the long run anyways. He eventually moved on, although it would take a long time, but to make sure he did, he was going to resign. You entered his room, which was all too familiar to you. It was too reminiscent of all your times together. At least you could still have him around, even if it weren't as your boyfriend, but you wish you had a chance. You wish the universe could give you some sign that you could get him back. You left the hoodie right on his bed, but as you turned around, his monitor was still open, and what you saw truly shocked you. It was open to his resignation letter. He was resigning? You wanted a chance to apologize even if he didn't want to be with you anymore. You didn't want to leave things on such bad notes. You at least wanted to try your luck. This was the sign from the universe. You figured he was probably out to go to meet your father. You wore your jacket, grabbing the car keys and heading out. It wasn't late just yet. He nervously stood in front of your father's office, rethinking if he wanted to change his decision. The only thing that popped up in his mind was your face, how you hadn't gotten much sleep since the day you guys broke up, or how you had even stopped eating the food he would make you. Doing this wouldn't only benefit him, but it would also help you to move on from him. He entered the office to be happily greeted by your father. Taehyung, this is a surprise. Is everything okay? Your father asked. Yes, sir. Miss YN is perfectly fine. I just came to give you this. He laid the resignation papers on the table as your father looked at it in disbelief. You are resigning? Yes, sir. I actually have to go back home. My mother is super ill and she needs me. He clearly lied because he couldn't tell the actual reason he had resigned, which was to avoid the tension between the two of you now that you were broken up. Well, if that's what you want, your father began to speak only for you to come rushing through the doors. It took you a few seconds to catch your breath, but you were lucky he was still there. Taehyung took a glance at you but instantly looked away. YN, dear, what are you doing here? Your father asked as you weren't trying to delay anything. You grabbed Taehyung's hand as his eyes widened in shock. YN, what are you doing? Gulped looking at your father and then you and his hands you were holding. I should have done this a long time ago. You were just supposed to explain to your father the truth, but you couldn't help. Leaned deeper into Taehyung and you unconsciously kissed him. His eyes widened as he didn't instantly respond to the kiss, but soon he did melt into it. It didn't matter who was in the room whenever you guys kissed, it was just the two of you. Breaking the kiss, you pleadingly looked at your father, hoping his reaction is a good one. YN, what is this nonsense? Your father began, and this was the reaction you were afraid of. You looked down, sighing in defeat. Your father then began to chuckle as you and Taehyung changed confusing looks. I was just kidding, Ryan. I have been aware of you and Taehyung for a while. We have surveillance footage of the house, you know? He smiled as a blush crept on the cheeks of you and Taehyung. If he had the footage to your house, he would have probably seen a lot more between the two of you. Don't worry, I only have the surveillance of the halls, so it wasn't like your privacy was disturbed. He grinned as you sighed in relief. What I'm trying to say is, I didn't want to tell you. I know because I wanted it to be something you guys wanted to share and Taehyung. If that was the reason you were resigning, you don't need to. It would be better anyways to have a bodyguard who is also her boyfriend. Knowing you love her, you will probably protect her even more. Taehyung unconsciously let a smile slip as your father said that. He got to keep his job and you. Thank you, sir. I won't let you down. He lightly squeezed your hand. You guys had just parked home after the events of today. The both of you still hadn't said a word to each other and didn't know where to begin. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry for hurting you. You don't have to be sorry. I should have told my father sooner. But even now, at least everything is for the better now. You explained, finding his hand to connect yours with it. Is it? I mean, I still didn't say I wanted to get back together. He scratched the back of his head as your eyes frowned. Is he being for the real right now? He made you do all that and now he didn't want to get back with you. Then why was he pretending at the office? You are crazy. You know that? You scoffed before getting out of the car, slamming the door shut. Taehyung was only joking, but looks like he make you mad. He followed after you into the house, easily lifting you in his arms. Yeah, put me down. I was kidding. Of course I want to be with you for the rest of my life. Now you were under his embrace on the couch. And I can't wait to tell everyone you are mine. He peppered your faces with kisses, making you chuckle.